Hey, what's up guys? We're continuing to take a trip down memory lane with the SAS series by taking a look at SAS Zombie Assault 2, the sequel to the original SAS Zombie Assault made by Ninja Kiwi back in 2009. It was the good old days for some of us, and we were still in the Flash era of gaming, playing classics like SAS 2. Of course, Flash died back in 2020, but I always have to thank Ninja Kiwi for making the Ninja Kiwi archive so we could play their old school games. SAS 2 is pretty old, but is it actually worth playing? I'll talk about the gameplay, replayability, and if it's even fun. Is it actually good, or is it just nostalgia? Let's find out. So SAS 2 is a top-down shooter where you kill zombies in waves and earn money as you kill them to buy weapons and doors to open up the map. You can compare it to old school zombies if that makes it easier. Being only the second game in the series, it's still kinda bare bones and simple, but SAS 2 started the foundation for a lot of good features for the future SAS games. One of my favorites is being able to buy doors and open up the map. This is definitely a step up from SAS 1 having one room and no doors to open. It's fun exploring the map and seeing what's behind each door, but be careful because there's usually something unpleasant behind them. But other times you'll find a gun that you now have the option to buy, and the guns in this game are pretty cool. They're fun to play around with, and you can tell enough of a difference between them. Like, not all assault rifles are the same. I can feel the difference between the AK and the HK. As well as things like reload time and penetration. There's a pretty good progression from your starting weapon to the late game weapons. Not to mention that your guns get unlimited ammo, which was a good idea because buying ammo might have disrupted the flow of gameplay. And you want to know which guns would have been fun to try out? These badass premium guns that you can't even use anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just can't click or buy these premium weapons, which is a damn shame because some of them look really cool. Like a grenade launcher, a flamethrower, a chainsaw, and a proton cannon? God damn. I'm sure the MP7 is just a better version of the MP5, but I bet the AA-12 kicks ass. Not to mention extra damage, armor, health regeneration, and extra cash per kill. That's the one I need. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think you can buy these anymore. At least not on the Ninja Kiwi archive. You can buy these coins with real money to get in-game DLCs and microtransactions, and this still works on Bloons Tower Defense 4 for example, but maybe SAS 2 is just too old and it doesn't work. And do you remember how you'd buy these premium weapons back in the day? Instead of coins, I think you'd buy something called Mochi coins back when Ninja Kiwi was working with or doing a collaboration with this other company or something. It unlocked an old school memory remembering Mochi coins. But enough with all that premium rich money talk, even though I bet it was very reasonably priced. Let's talk about something for free that actually gives you a sense of progression as you play the game, and that's ranking up. I'm surprised you actually get XP as you kill zombies, which was ahead of its time, and it makes it more satisfying getting each kill. You start out by getting a red dot sight, which isn't that useful. I barely knew what it did at first, but the first one that's a game changer is the mini-map. It just makes it so much easier to know what's around you and where you should be shooting. It's so effective that you have to try not to look at it 24/7. It's just really useful. You also get other things like reloading faster and badassness. Oh, what's badassness, you ask? You literally double your health. Your health bar goes from this to this. So at this point you have a mini-map, reload faster, and double health. You also can't go wrong with doubling the magazine of all your weapons. But one upgrade that I couldn't get a high enough level for was the Sentry Gun Engineer. In the late game you can get this badass sentry gun, and I love having automatic turrets in tower defense or zombie games, and it would have been awesome to double its ammo. It's this fun progression I like that makes you want to get to a higher round. With as far as I got, I still didn't get the last level for the last upgrade, which is called Witness the Fitness, a cool way to say that you have improved movement speed. I don't know how much faster you are, but I bet it helps. I wonder what round you have to get to be a high enough level to unlock it. Comment if you know. But you guys see what I mean? It's a fun progression running around the map, finding and buying weapons while ranking up and getting set up with a strategy. So while this game might be old, that part of it never gets old, at least to some of us. As long as the gameplay isn't too outdated and satisfying enough, the game isn't truly outdated. That's why Doom is still a great game. For those of you who are old like me, you can still get some enjoyment out of this game. There's still moments where it gets intense and your skills are being tested. It can actually come down to your skill and your knowledge whether you survive or not. You might take the wrong turn or waste your money. It takes a bit of getting used to, like deciding if you want to camp or train the zombies. There can be some risk and strategy in both, and it can be smart to know when to train or camp. I think it's fun to hold down a certain spot or area to see how far I can go, but sometimes you have to train. Not to mention those power-ups that can spawn each round in the late game, so you have to decide if it's worth getting or not. SAS 2 is fun in an old school kind of way. If you never played this game, don't appreciate old Ninja Kiwi games, or if you're too young, you probably won't care for this game. Even if you have nostalgia and appreciate this game, is it actually worth playing? Well, let's get into some of my criticisms and you could decide that for yourself. I'm sure the first thing you can notice is that I kinda have to drag to aim. When you look too far in any direction, your screen drags in that direction. So if you look too far and aim all the way to the left, you'll have to drag your mouse all the way to the right to even it out. This is probably the most annoying thing about this game, but it's manageable. Not game breaking, but it'll probably stop some of you from enjoying the game. On top of that, this game doesn't hide your mouse cursor over your crosshair, so it just doesn't look clean. But luckily I disabled the mouse cursor for this video, so this video is clean. That one's not a big deal, but make sure you don't right click while playing. It just kinda messes with the game. It's kinda like right clicking on a browser or something. That one's not a big deal either, but you wanna know what's annoying? These gray bars on the side. It reminds me of an old YouTube video, making this video seem nostalgic already. And kinda like an old Xbox 360 working with 30 FPS, it feels like this game is working with 15 FPS. And when I say working, I mean working. Like, it's not crispy smooth, but it feels like the best 20 FPS ever. It can just be like that with some older games, doing the best they can with older technology. But a few criticisms that would actually add more to this game is if you were able to save your high scores. On the home screen for SAS 2, surprisingly most of these links still work. You can still see how to play the game. You can click more games and it'll take you to their website. If you click play SAS 3, it opens SAS 3. Even if you try to click the link for SAS 3 on iPhone, at least it tells you the feature isn't available. But if you click high scores, nothing. It doesn't do anything. I don't know if this was an online feature or if you can see other people's high scores, but I don't know why they couldn't keep this. I would definitely play a bit more if I can see my top 10 or top 5 best scores. My final criticism is a bit of a non-critique because they ended up doing it later in SAS 3, and that's this game not having multiplayer. Of course I can't fault this game for not having it, but it definitely stops you from playing this game longer than a few sessions if you're used to SAS 4 or even 3. It's also fun to just imagine playing this game with other people, trying different strategies and camping with randoms. It would be very cool but very unrealistic if they remastered or remade these older SAS games to make things like this possible and to fix those other criticisms. Like, they could update the graphics because I'm sure that might be holding some of you back as well, even though they're slightly better than SAS 1 and good for its time. At least they give you a little teaser of the SAS 3 multiplayer on the home screen for the SAS 2 DLC Insane Asylum. Yeah, that's right, if you wanted more SAS 2 content, not only did this game plant the seed for having premium guns and bigger maps, you also get this entire map for free and it's pretty badass. It has more of a creepy vibe and it feels more claustrophobic. I definitely appreciate this map and it probably showed that they were committed to the series at the time and to expect more. Not so much anymore, but there's actually more attention to detail with Insane Asylum than the original map, so there was already progression just with SAS 2 and its DLC. Not only does the map look a bit better with more detail, there's a couple new guns and a new enemy. Apparently they removed the L115 sniper rifle for the 700 Nitro Express and the M1014. They also added a new enemy, which I hate because that's these goddamn zombie clowns. Of course they had to add an enemy that runs up to you really fast and explodes, because we all love that, don't we? They even make this scary noise that turns frustrating so you know that they're coming. These clowns alone make the original map more laid back and consistent to play through. They made another change with an already existing enemy that I much prefer than these stupid clowns. They made it so when the butcher dies, all of these worms come out of his dead body and attack you. I thought it was very interesting that this feature started with Insane Asylum and not the original SAS 2 or 3, but I do respect having these different enemy types, especially early on in the series. Like, that demon-looking piece of shit who can spawn enemies is not easy to deal with, but I respect it. All of these features that set the foundation for the future of the series, making SAS into more of a full game, and it made its impact on the series leading into SAS 3 and 4. Speaking of features, let's talk about the feature that we don't have and talk about high scores. I died on wave 25 for the original map, and wave 24 on Insane Asylum. What the hell can you do? I know you can't keep track of high scores in your highest round, but play a game and tell me your highest round, or tell me if you remember your highest round. Did you do better than me? I don't know, maybe I'm bad and the mid-20s isn't that impressive. I also didn't know 30 was the highest round and that you can beat the game. Either way, it takes about 20 minutes to get to round 20, so it's not too long or tedious. I probably could have done a little better if I perfected my strategy a little more, but it's whatever. I was satisfied with my time on this game. It's been a while since I thoroughly played through this game, and I enjoyed getting into it. It takes me back and makes me think of the good old days when games were more about passion and putting your games together with sticks and glue, instead of having shiny graphics, lots of monetization, and no passion. It also makes me think of old school YouTube, and if you want to try to look up this game on YouTube, you'll find someone who worked with Ninja Kiwi called Ninja Kiwi Chris, and this YouTube channel is a bit of a time capsule to remind you what Ninja Kiwi was over a decade ago. I don't know if you're still out there, Chris, but please say something. Also, if you try to look up any reviews on this game, you'll find this kid from over a decade ago called XX Crazy Wicked XX with a classic Xbox 360 era username. What a legend. And you'll find this other kid with a good idea for a channel, and that's the best of Flash games. Just like Crazy Wicked, both of their first videos were on SAS 2, and that's pretty much where it ended. Those are your two other options for SAS 2 reviews, so you better leave a like. For all three of us. And shout out to Crunch or anyone who's made an SAS 2 video in the last few years, and to anyone who makes one after this. Understandably, this isn't a game with much discussion or content anymore. You get more with SAS 3, but it's mostly with SAS 4 these days. Then hopefully one day we get SAS 5. It's something I have to mention every SAS video. I know how badly most of you want it, but I gotta keep it real with you guys. SAS 5 is not around the corner. Let's say it does come out. That'll probably be at least 3 to 10 years after this video. I'm sorry, but you gotta find a similar game to SAS. Maybe I'll make a video on a game similar to SAS after I check out the entire series, but you'll need something to hold you over. It's kinda like waiting for The Elder Scrolls 6, so you play other open world RPGs, or it's like waiting for Left 4 Dead 3, so you play other zombie games, or just feel bad about Back 4 Blood. Just be patient and try not to think about it and hope that it comes out. Until then, all we can do is play and talk about these classic SAS games to keep them alive. It can be nice reminiscing on the good old days and just be happy that we got to experience it, or that we can still even play these games. SAS 2 is a classic, and I appreciate you guys taking a trip down memory lane with me. Tell me your favorite thing or memory about SAS 2 down below. Let's keep this nostalgic trip going next time when I see you guys on the original game that started the entire series, SAS 1. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.